Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning into my podcast, Xena Life as a Dominatrix. This is episode 55. This will be aired on Tuesday, March 5th, 2024. Before I begin discussing today's topic, I just want to make a note that on each and every of my podcast episodes, you will see a link that states support the show today. And when you click on the link, it leads directly to my Venmo page. And for verification, my Venmo ID is Xena Romanova. So thank you all very much for tuning in, subscribing, and supporting this little podcast. All right, today's topic, health and safety. This is very important, a very important topic to discuss in the BDSM world. And before I take a deep dive in it, I want to bring up this show that I've been kind of binge watching on and off. The show is called Pose, and it's on one of the platforms, HBO or Amazon. It's a really great show, but I'm going to do like a little spoiler alert because this episode was very alarming, and I'll tell you why in a minute. So this episode, this is the worst case scenario that can happen. Absolute worst. All right. So there's a character. Her name is Mistress Electra Evangelista. She's one of the main characters in the show. And in the episode, she had taken a job as a dominatrix in a New York City dungeon. So the scene, she had a regular slave at the Hellfire Club where Mistress Electra worked at. And basically, this slave, he was often into being degraded through cross-dressing and insults from the dominatrix Mistress Electra. And in the episode, he had also used poppers and cocaine despite Mistress Electra's repeated calls to not be a user or advise its use during roleplay. So during one of their sessions in the show, Mistress Electra's slave, this time he brought in a gas mask for their session. And he was bound to a sling that was suspended off ground. He was wearing this gas mask, deploying poppers into his system. And then his mistress left him inhaling the fumes for over 20 minutes, in which he was left experiencing an overdose. And then he vomited and choked on his own vomit. And she came back into the room and he was visibly unconscious. She quickly removed the gas mask, and right then and there he died. I know this is a show, but this is the ultimate worst case scenario, and that's why it's crucial to play safe, sane, and consensual. And for any worst case scenario, I just want to bring it up. Don't ever be afraid to call 911 if something is very serious. And in the show, the character Mistress Electra did not call 911 because she was under assumption that the cops would just keep her in jail. The show, it took place in the early 90s, but it was filmed a couple years ago. So I want to get to it. Bondage. Never do it alone. Don't leave someone in a same position for too long. Don't have the dominant leave you in bondage and leave your presence. If you're into choking, I do not recommend strangulation scenes in the course of erotic asphyxiation or using chloroform. Drugs and alcohol during a scene, don't do it. Some people personally have asked me if they could take poppers in a session, and of course it's a hard no. That's one of my limits. No poppers, no substances that can alter your state. I just don't suggest it. And and also very important, stay hydrated, drink a lot of water. And whipping, don't hit the lower back. You could damage kidneys. Rope bondage. Rope does not go around the neck. Kneeling, the knees can fall asleep. So I could suggest So I do suggest to not be on your hands and knees for a long time, and also have a pair of knee pads for your knees. They do come in handy, so consider purchasing a pair for yourself. And if you're doing any type of fire play or candle wax play, some experienced players incorporate fire play or candle wax play in their scenes. Personally, I don't, due to the danger factor, and every dungeon or everybody should have a fire extinguisher, just to be on the safe side. And also, I brought up the episode because I recently watched it, and I'm like, whoa, that's absolutely crazy. And I won't spoil it more for you. I can't remember what season or what episode exactly, but it's a fantastic show. And what she did in the show, she left him alone for 20 minutes. No, you can't do that. You can't leave somebody alone while they're in bondage. Not even 10 minutes, not even 5 minutes. I mean, sure, I could understand if you have to get a swig of your water or use the bathroom really quickly, but don't leave your partner or submissive alone while they're in bondage. Very important. All right, diabetes. So, those who have low blood sugar, tell the dominant. And so they're alerted by your condition that you have diabetes. And dominants that are listening, if somebody goes into like a diabetic shock or have low blood pressure, low blood sugar, I would suggest giving that person a half a cup of juice or regular soda, or 1 tablespoon of sugar, honey, or syrup. Have the person suck on hard candies, jelly beans, or gumdrops. 3 or 4 glucose tablets. And also there's an option of 1 dose of glucose gel as well. Yeah, so that's something to be aware of. And CPR, another thing that I do recommend. CPR is essential to learn, so I would advise to take CPR classes. Every dungeon or dominant should have a first aid kit, and also, like I said earlier, a fire extinguisher. Yeah, and alert the dominant if you've had any recent surgery or any type of heart conditions. And also, again, drink water, hydrate, coconut water, electrolytes, Gatorade, electrolytes. And if somebody, another bad scenario, if somebody happens to pass out, have alcohol swabs and place it under the nose of the person who had passed out to get them back, to wake them up, to revive them. And every first aid kit should have alcohol swabs. Health, make sure you're healthy when you're playing. If you're not feeling well, then wait until you're healed or feel better. I remember a lot of people wanted to play when COVID first started. I stated, well, distance training is available, just not in person. And then I would state, well, are you all aware what's going on? There's a pandemic, a nationwide pandemic. And I just think people had cabin fever, and that was really kicking in. And also my suggestion, if you have a cold, then wait until your cold goes away, since a cold can be contagious. You don't want to get the dominant sick. Be considerate. Take care of your health first. Mental state. Make sure you're in a positive mindset, a good mental state. That goes for everybody playing. And also, it's common and a messed up misconception that people who like kink are mentally ill. That's not true. There's actually studies that have shown that people who engage in kink are not mentally ill. There was a study that took place in 2020. It was published in the Sexuality Research and Social Policy Journal, and it showed that people who participate in BDSM score similarly on most measures of psychological health, have similar levels of trauma and childhood experience as the general population and relationship. So, no, we're not mentally ill. We're not deranged. We just enjoy BDSM and kink and fetish. And also, BDSM and kink can improve overall mental wellness. BDSM helps foster a sense of overall well being. It can help with improved confidence, the release of sexual shame, community building, and greater self esteem. Kink can be liberating, joyful, and healing in so many ways. Very euphoric. You feel like you're on cloud nine. You feel like all the problems just went out the door when you're engaging in a session. And that's a great feeling. Safety, playing with someone new, have a person to call before and after a session. Slaves, perhaps start with a Skype session first for an introductory initial session to get to know the person via Skype. And then when you're comfortable, meet the person face to face. Make sure you feel safe with the person you're playing with. Feel comfortable and relaxed. Perhaps develop a rapport, or go out to coffee or lunch in a public setting and see if the chemistry is there. Very important. In sessions, give a safe word. The person you're playing with should respect the safe word. Don't be afraid of using the safe word. Of course, play safe, sane, and consensual. Negotiate your wants and your needs. Discuss a play scene before you begin. Create your own BDSM checklist, displaying what you'd like to try and displaying what's off limits. Perhaps maybe use a blue pen that indicates, yes, I'm into that, or a red pen that indicates, no, I'm not into that. During the scene, check in. Ask the bottom, the slave, are you all right? Was that too much? Do you need any water? Do you need to take a break? If the partner is wearing a ball gag, perhaps tell the partner or the slave to tap you, indicating if something is too much. So overall communication, very, very important. And there were times in the past where people would, I would say, why didn't you use your safe word if that was too much? And then the person would state, I don't know, I wanted to impress you. It's like, no, you need to use the safe word if something's too much. Like I said, communication is very essential. Aftercare, very important as well. So having a blanket on hand to cover your partner's body, the submissive's body, cuddling with the submissive, petting the head of the submissive or your partner, hugging the person, a kiss on the forehead, discussing the scene afterwards, drink water, have a snack. Actually, aftercare is essential for both the dominant and the submissive. And also very important, hurt, not harm. The submissive, the bottom, will be able to feel the pain temporarily during a scene that should not result to long-term pain or a trip to the hospital. So, again, communicate if you can receive marks on your body. And if so, discuss how long you're able to have the marks on your body. Like, for instance, a lot of people, they go to the gym or they don't want their spouse to see their red behind. So perhaps a wooden paddle wouldn't be a good idea. Perhaps your bare hands or a flogger. Doms out there, every bottom is different. So some people, they mark quite easily. So if the person cannot receive marks, perhaps use your bare hands, like I said, rather than a single tail whip. And a single tail whip or a cane, those marks definitely last. Again, every bottom is different. Some people, the marks can last for a day or two or a week. Everybody's different. All right, consent. If you said no to receiving a certain act, for instance, a slap across the face, or if you're not into humiliation and you're called a piece of shit or a loser or a scumbag, etc., then that means your boundaries and limits are not being respected. So communicate that with the dominant or state, okay, I'd like to end this scene. It will take you out of the subspace and make you feel uncomfortable if somebody is not respecting your limits. You want to play with someone you feel comfortable with. Know what you like and know what you dislike. Honesty and communication, super important. Again, don't be afraid to communicate. Yeah, very important. Don't be shy to communicate. And communication is key. Having a good rapport, good chemistry is very important. Regarding dungeon parties, if you're interested in having your own party, fetish party, dungeon party, play party, whatnot, have a dungeon monitor. That person is responsible for walking around the space, making sure people are playing safely. Create your own consent forms. Create your own rules and regulations. And again, have a fire extinguisher and a first aid kit. So, yeah, people have to abide by your rules. And if you don't, you have that ability to say, you gotta go. You're not respecting the space. You're not respecting others. You gotta go. So respect, very important as well in this scene. Breath play. Some people are into this activity and some aren't. Needle play, another activity. Learn to do needle play. I would suggest having a mentor teaching you about needle play. Somebody who's definitely trained in that fetish. Keys to the handcuffs. Have 2 sets of keys just in case you lose a key. Every dungeon, every dominant should have safety scissors. So in case your partner is in restrictive rope bondage and their arm or leg falls asleep and you're unable to get the knots out in time, safety scissors come in handy. Plus, I don't suggest tying so extremely tight. They want to be able to feel their arms or their legs. Bruises. Treating bruises and inflamed skin immediately. Alcohol swabs. Patting them in case they do bleed after a spanking, a whipping, whatnot. Yeah. Oh, also, I wanted to bring up books because recently a friend of mine asked, hey, what book should I check out? And I will give you a couple of recommendations. These 2 I really recommend. The first one, SM 101 by Jay Wiseman, and BDSM, A Guide for Explorers for Extreme Eroticism by Azard. And also, there's a hotline I wanted to mention. It's called National Domestic Violence Hotline, and the phone number for those that are interested in calling this number is 800-799-7233. This hotline, there's a specific news topic on this website called thehotline.org. The headline is, Healthy BDSM relationships are possible, of course. And I want to bring that up because if you're feeling any type of feeling unsafe in a relationship, this is a hotline to call. and they will be able to assist you. And nobody should feel unsafe in a relationship whatsoever. And at this hotline, they hear from quite a few people who have questions about BDSM, which encompasses a variety of erotic practices or activities that may involve bondage and discipline, dominance and submission, or sadism and masochism. And people might be wondering if healthy BDSM relationships are possible, or they may have concerns about a current relationship in which they're practicing BDSM with a partner. But I would definitely, if you have any questions, I would definitely call this number and for any type of guidance or assistance. And again, you should feel safe in a relationship. You should feel comfort, nurture, love, care in a relationship. And I bring this up also because I remember, like, a very long time ago, it was a dungeon party in Chicago. This has got to be about 20 years ago. It just kind of popped up in my head, and I basically, okay, to make a long story short, what I remember is this master guy. I don't remember what they look like. I don't remember names, but I just remember him degrading this woman in front of everybody. And I asked somebody, I think it was the dungeon monitor or owner. I said, "Is this a regular occurrence at this dungeon?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, she's into this. She's into that." And what he was doing, it was um, um, well, it was a public dungeon where basically you had to be a member to attend. And I can't remember exactly, but I just felt like, is she in safe hands? That made me question to myself, like, is this guy borderline abusing her? What is going on? And basically, the dungeon monitor, he basically stated, yeah, that's what they do. Every week they come here and they do the same scene. And I found that really concerning. And she looked like she was in distress, and she looked uncomfortable. And I'm like, I don't know. I believe I never went back. I think that was the only time I had went to that one space, and I never went back. And I realized, okay, this is not a space for me. Um, yeah, and back then in Chicago, there were more than one dungeons, more than one. And in my head, I could count, like 20 years ago, there were about at least five of them that were open to members. But I bring that up because it's very important to be in a healthy, safe relationship, to know your boundaries. Sure, it's all right to push boundaries, but if you're pushing your boundaries too far, then give your safe word. If your boundaries are pushed too hard, if that makes sense, give your safe word. Don't be afraid of using your safe word. And yeah, yeah. And I'm trying to think of another. Um, no, that's. Oh, yeah. I remember another party. This was another party where basically this woman was into A, B, and C, and the master, I think he was her husband as well. He had said, "Yeah, you could do whatever I want, that I want with her, Xena." I said, "Are you sure? Are you positively sure?" He's like, "Yeah, yeah." So I said, "Does she have any limits?" He said, "No, no, no, no limits." And basically, she was a hardcore pain slut. I remember her name. I remember his name. I remember what they look like. And so basically, this was, yeah, I want to say around 2002, over 20 years ago. and I was slapping her boobs, slapping them and playing with her nipples. And then he approached me, the master approached me and whispered in my ear. He said, "I think you're hitting them too hard. They're fake breasts. They're fake or whatever." I said, "Oh." I didn't know. And then I said, I thought you said I could do whatever I want with her." And he said, "Oh, just be careful with they're fake. They're fake." So okay, now you tell me. I wish you would have communicated this to me. I said something in that nature. Like, I thought, man, this guy should have communicated this better to me. And plus, while I was doing this to her, she was really enjoying it. She was moaning. She was saying stuff like, "Yes, mistress, more," something like that, if I could remember. But I do remember her enjoying it. And then finally he said, "Yeah, they're fake." Like, oh, I wish. And at the time, I believe that was the first set of implants I've ever felt in my life. I'm like, wow, that is so fascinating. I had no idea. And what I'm trying to get at is communication is key. Communication, giving a safe word, using the safe word is very important. Um, yeah, yeah. And I wanted to bring this specific topic up, health and safety, because I'm surprised I didn't bring up health and safety in a entire podcast episode in before, but I just wanted to bring it up now in this episode 55, Xena Life as a Dominatrix, discussing health and safety. Thank you all very much for tuning in. And again, if you would like to support the show, you're more than welcome to by sending a tip via Venmo. Click on the link that states support the show today. Thank you all very much for tuning in and have a great day.